Welcome to the Enlightrepreneurs podcast. I'm Justin Minott. I'm here with my business partner, Dave Gold.
Hi, Justin. Hi, Tim.
And we have Tim Scales from American Underground here joining us on this episode, a wonderful human being who we've had the opportunity to connect with. What is your official title at American Underground?
I am the Director of Growth at the AU.
Okay, so let's start with that. What in the world does that mean? What does a Director of Growth do, and what is American Underground? Give us that.
Well, that is, so what do I do is a great question because I started at the AU about 8 weeks ago, which was right at the end of February, right at the beginning of when the pandemic still was really only just barely touching our shores. And so the role that I was brought on to do for the American Underground was to increase the size of our community, to bring in new members. So we're a community of founders, a startup hub based in downtown Durham. Have been going for about 10 years. We're called the American Underground because we were started in the basement of the American Tobacco campus and quickly outgrew those halls and now have several locations around Durham. And we provide resources and a network and support to our community of 300 entrepreneur companies and their employees. And so that's the job I was brought on to do. Everything has obviously changed for us and for the world. And so growth looks a lot different, but now it looks like helping the organization understand how we best continue to serve our members, even though everything has changed for us and them, and what does the future of that look like?
So,
and is there a particular constituency in terms of your members? Are they tending to one sector or another?
The theme for the past few years has been high growth tech startups for the most part, though we do have a broader range than that, and we have some agencies, we have some small businesses. We have some folks in consumer products and tech platforms and a variety of things.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So what does this moment look like for something? I mean, you're a gathering space. You're a place where people were coming together and doing this work and collaborating. How in the world have you pivoted right now? What does this look like?
Yeah, so we have gone from a space that made great effort to bring people together physically, get them in the same room, get them talking and make those connections, to one that has pivoted entirely to virtual first and has tried to recreate and foster that sense of community online. And that's, since we can't meet in person, that means through Slack and through Zoom and through Google Hangouts and through curated events that we host or that we partner with others on. They get folks talking, make those connections, and maintain the network and the strength of the community that we've had for so many years that has driven success for a lot of our member companies.
So what's been a benefit of this time? Because, you know, people talk a lot about the challenges, right? It's been hard to gather people, but what's kind of an unforeseen benefit that's hit you upside the head during this time?
I think a benefit is that it's caused us to think very carefully about everything we do. And so nothing's running on autopilot anymore. Everything is very hands-on, very intentional. And our team is very connected to our members in a different kind of way. So we're not able to just run into people in the hallway. We're needing to make extra effort to keep people connected, to learn from folks. And we've found that we have been able to maintain a pretty strong sense of community within the digital walls that we now live in.
Wow.
And that's what I wanted to ask about, Tim. So we talk to so many different people facing the same situation, whether it's in business or like you guys are an aggregator of entrepreneurs. What do you find is most conducive and effective to creating this sense of intimacy and connection without actually being physically present?
I think that it comes from, so the areas that we've found the most success are small group meetings online of folks from similar roles who are able to speak about the challenges that they're facing as individuals within their companies and within their markets.
How small?
So our founders group meets every week. We have anywhere from sort of 10 to 20 people on there. So that's one of the larger ones. Our other community groups, which are marketing, products, people ops, that kind of thing, range from sort of 3 to 5, maybe a few more. Yeah. And that size group, you can really have an honest person-to-person conversation through video, which as we've seen folks just learn that skill over the past few weeks as well, how to maintain these human connections through video. And I think it comes, the success comes from understanding that we are all human within this and that we are not just our roles within our companies, and acknowledging that we're all struggling as individuals as well as businesses, and starting with space for that in starting with our own vulnerability as people at the AU, and the work that we are trying to do to get through as people and as a business as well.
So that's one of the things that I love most about you so far, Tim, is you are, as we say with a lot of our guests, you're speaking from it and not just about it. And so you're actually leading with that vulnerability and being in that space. And I think that's really remarkable and part of your success story at AU. And I'm glad that you've been here for the last 8 weeks because it's beautiful to have you involved here. I love it. So we met each other, I don't know how long ago was it now?
Days?
Yeah.
Maybe a week.
Yeah, maybe a week. And we decided that we're moving in together a little bit here.
Right.
So, and this is because we both share the same heart to serve, and we just want to give what's needed in this moment. And so after talking to Tim, we came up with an idea for an event to really address the current massive needs of business owners and leaders who are trying to think about how in the world to lead their team through the other side of coronavirus. Now that we're seeming to be, cresting the peak here and heading back to the other side to look at really what could it look like to come back to work? What does the future of work look like? How do we do this safely, wisely, and hopefully profitably so that businesses can stay on their feet and just managing that delicate space. What are your thoughts? What about this event is resonating for you?
Oh, I'm particularly excited about this event because it's with the AU and we'll have AU members there, but we'll also have folks from a variety of other businesses around Durham. And I think there's so much that we can learn from each other across industries and across business types about what's working, what's not. Because the main challenge is there's the public health challenge of creating safe and healthy workspaces. And then there's the human challenge of keeping our teams safe, helping them feel supported, helping them feel comfortable doing their work or not doing their work as they need to. And I think that we're going to see a lot of different approaches and a lot of different paths to success that we can share with one another.
And what as you're thinking through opening up, what are your major concerns, and how do you want to set the table, not just to bring people back safely, but what it's going to look like in a month, 2 months, 3 months? Because this is part of what we're doing in the program as well. It's not just bringing them back, but what does this mean in terms of a launching point for even greater success and greater morale in the workplace?
Yeah. Well, we are at the AU, we're approaching this not as a business where the AU is drawing up guidelines and handing them to our employees or our customers. We're viewing this as a community of businesses within this space and within this network. And so one of the first things that we did is we've written a pledge. We call it the AU Community Pledge, which is sort of a public health ownership statement, where it's just every individual should read and should agree to not come to the AU if they're not feeling well, to wash their hands frequently, to encourage safe social distancing. Simple things that we all are doing and need to do, but just a reminder that we are all within this community in this together, and that it's going to take all of us to keep any of us safe.
Wow. I love it. And this moment really does. This coronavirus has highlighted and reminded us all of our interconnectedness as humans. We are always interconnected, but this is something that has made it very poignant and right in our face. And so I love that. Well, we're looking forward. This event is Tuesday, May 12th at 2 p.m. And it's going to be a virtual event, so you can find information on the Enlightrepreneurs, my pages, AU's pages, any of that. The event details will be there. So please join us. It's free. And we really want to just facilitate this discussion because it's important and needed right now as we consider what this looks like together. And I should mention a few of our panelists, which we have Maggie Kane joining us from A Place at the Table, incredible business owner, incredible leader. Tom Ferguson from Rise Biscuits, very forward thinker, who is considering a lot of these futurist implications. We have, who else did I get on here? Oh, Aisha Allen, who is approaching it from the healthcare perspective. So I'm going to offer a really unique perspective there. Zemo Trevathan, a consultant for Fortune 100 companies. Dave, who am I missing?
Well, I just got knocked off and I'm just coming into place.
That's all good. You're back in. Well, anyway, so yeah, just a beautiful, well-rounded panel is what I want you to see. as well, because we're going to be approaching this from a bunch of different angles and considering how we do this best together. And that's how it's best done. And I love your approach, Tim, that you're doing this together with your community. It's beautiful. So thank you for being who you are.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I appreciate the chance to chat with y'all.
All right.